And now it's time for our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy. Take it away, Dan.
Well, hi, Julie. It's been a great week, of course, on the gas front. We have seen prices stabilize, in some instances actually fall. Vancouver, which traditionally sees prices move up in the $2 range, actually saw a 7-cent decrease. Now, that's because, of course, there's a shift over from from the July to the August contract. But this may very well be the calm before the storm. We've seen prices go up in Atlantic Canada. We've seen prices, as I predicted last week, in Quebec and Ontario go up about 3-4 cents a liter. They stayed stable, of course, in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and even to a lesser extent, Alberta. But that's likely to change next week. That's because, as this, of course, is the Canada long weekend, and of course, the United States, July 4th, their long weekend, it's likely to bring pressure on demand for prices. More importantly, we're also looking at geopolitical issues, that continue to create some concern and intensification of whether or not there could be disruption to supplies, especially in the all-important Gulf of Oman and, of course, the Strait of Hormuz, where the Houthi rebels continue to menace and attack some ships. Beyond that, I'm also mindful of what happens this time of year. It looks like we could have a very active weather season on the hurricane front. In particular, I'm looking at something called AL95, and that's what could be the beginnings of hurricane or at least tropical storm Beryl. Remember, we have to go through the entire alphabet, and these are alphabetically named. But it looks like right off the coast of South America, coming from the eastern tips of Africa, we now have a number of storms that are developing. The latest one, AL94, looks like it's going to be 90% certain they will cross over the Lesser Antilles and then move into what is, of course, the Caribbean Sea. And then from there, potentially move forward into the Gulf of Mexico. That's where 50% of all the gasoline in the United States and a lot of natural gas and oil come from. So that could have a pretty strong effect this time next week. We may be looking at prices going up. For this weekend, slow and easy wins the race. It looks like we might get a penny's increase in Eastern Canada. We'll probably get a 1 penny increase come Thursday and Friday next week in Atlantic Canada. But for the prairies, no change. And of course, slight, small increases in the lower mainland, Vancouver, and of course, Vancouver Island. So I would expect prices to move from 183.9 to about 185.9. But remember, those are 15 cents a liter lower than they were last year. When you consider a carbon tax has been included of 4 cents a liter, that's a 19-cent difference this year compared to last year. So consumers, whether they realize it, should be celebrating. This is something that we need to keep focused on. Is that gasoline prices aren't moving much, but oil is. And we're seeing oil now move about $2-3 a barrel higher than it was last week. Looks like we're heading to $84 for West Texas Intermediate next week. And of course, for gasoline, no move, but we are seeing Brent then move up towards 87, maybe even $88 a barrel. That's at the high end. It was predicted, and it means that later in the summer, we're likely to see here, Julie, some pretty significant increases in gas prices. That hasn't happened yet. Bit of a delayed reaction, but it's rather inevitable. That's really it for this week. And if there's any other matters that do come up on the gasoline front, I'd be more concerned about meteorological implications rather than what the industry is doing. Refineries are doing extraordinarily well getting production and their products out. But we also have to be mindful that in the context of everything we've seen here, anything can happen very quickly and very rapidly. What it also means, of course, is that this may not be the summer of our discontent, but come late summer, we may very well want to remember these great days in which prices were an average of about 10 cents a liter lower than where they should be, and that we may very well start to see prices moving up throughout mid-July and into the long weekend in August. That's it for this week. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Happy Canada Day to you and all the viewers here. Take care, Julie.